Okay, so as you can see, credentials to that side. Uh, Here we have my board that's going to show you measurements, fractions of an inch. My name is Derek Seals. I'm your instructor for today. We will be going over fractions of an inch. I am a carpenter, professional carpenter. I've been a carpenter for over 38 years. That's my trade in the building department. I build new construction from the ground up. I also do master remodeling to homes or to any type of commercial building. I also read blueprints, and I also estimate my own material. I went to Los Angeles Trade Technical College. I was in an apprenticeship program for the joint apprenticeship for Los Angeles County Carpenters Union, where I had training there back in from 1987. So I go all the way back to 1986. Started off in the Long Beach Unified School District from my high school in a carpentry program that they offered there. Here you will be learning by me how to measure with a measuring ruler or a measuring tape. And it's very important that you learn this process because this is the key to building. You cannot do any type of construction work if you're not an accurate measurer. When it comes to feet per inch, board footage, you need to know how to measure out a room, how to square a room, how to get heights. And you're measuring, you're going to have fractions of an inch going from 1 inch to 12 inches, which is a foot. We will break down every 16th of an inch to get you to 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches. Then you will become at your starting point learning the process of measuring. Process of measuring is very important for a carpenter, mechanical tradesman, HVAC, plumbing, electrical. HVAC is heating and air conditioning. Many other trades, landscapers, roofers, drywallers. These different trades, concrete, they have to know how to use a measuring rule. This is also kid friendly. So you can put your kid in front of me, you know, from the ages of 4 or 5 when they begin to learn how to understand, and you take them through that process in the beginning of their life. You're not necessarily learning how to read words, but learning how to read numbers. You have to know your basics in order for this to work because we're going into fractions. So you do need to understand addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Those are the basics of mathematics. I suggest if you struggle in those areas, you really need some training in those areas because with fractions of an inch, you will be adding, dividing, multiplying, and subtracting. And those are the key elements to mastering fractions of an inch. Here, I want you to understand what my role as a professional carpenter is. I'm training you to know how to read this measuring tape. The measuring tape, which I'm not going to show the name because I'm not endorsed to show any names of any products, but this ruler here, it signifies a very scale on it. And let me turn it around from here. Well, let's just put it like this. That way you can read it. You get the concept. Sometimes the numbers might be backwards because of the position that I am taping. Don't fret, don't fear. We're going to go through it all together. We're going to take our time with you. We're going to break this thing down, fractions of an inch, starting from a 16th, which is the very first little one you see here when you see the marker of 1 inch. Now, I do have to do this. You can watch me do this while I'm right here, because it's important that you know. And I'm gonna have to redraw some stuff, so bear with your instructor. It's just like going to a classroom setting. I'm the instructor. You go to school, you got the instructor in front of you. You're in the course to learn how to be proficient at what it is you're going to be learning here and what you're going to be doing. Just don't want you to be afraid to make mistakes to learn, because we all do. And that is the process of learning. You got to really learn. You learn better when you do make mistakes. I'm not a stickler on badgering you. But when it comes to certain jobs, believe you could get fired for giving out the wrong measurement, because there's a cutting process that goes with the measurement, or there's an estimating process that goes with your measurement. It's very important. You mess up with the measurement, it can cost money, quite a bit of money. So homeowners want you to join in. You thinking about doing a project at your house, you're thinking about remodeling, you're gonna need this class, this course. You're gonna need this how to read a measuring ruler or a measuring tape. You're gonna need that. How to renovate, you're gonna need this. How to build from the ground up, you're gonna need this. Very important, because there's gonna be some things you're not gonna be able to pass or get through without learning this process. Stay tuned. There's a lot we're gonna cover. There's gonna be other videos that you need to hone in on, and that's because I'm giving it to you raw, unadulterated, raw, okay? And I want you to be able to understand the process, even for a child. If I can train a child how to read a measuring tape, at this day and time, our kids are smart and on social media. They know more than what we know at the age they are. So there are parts to a measuring tape that you do need to know. Not necessarily I want you to know these parts, but what I do want you to understand is basically how to read. That's the focus of this course here, how to read a measuring tape, okay? This is on another end. This end is on the wrong. I got it swapped because of the way the video is being shot. This is not going to make any sense to you. And this is going to be erased soon anyway, so just bear with me on that. I have different products up above me. What you see above my head, I have here a back brace, gloves, hard hats, safety glasses, mold mask. All my credentials lie over here. Frame and square, which is a key element to stair cutting, roof cutting, just a square period. There are other different types of squares that you're going to need to learn or how to use. Okay, so with that being said, let's go with starting off with 1 inch. Okay, I'm just finishing up drawing this out. Okay, and you will see me drawing architectural scales. An architectural scale is that we commonly use. A lot of things are being obsolete right now. I'm teaching you old school. And because I teach you old school, is that you don't have to rely on some type of device where the battery can go dead. Storm knocks out the electricity. All your electrical stuff is gone. Computers, subject to battery powered electricity. I want to get you to learn from right here and visualize. And that's going to let you go farther and beyond the average guy that has went to a school to learn technology. Okay, because technology it wasn't around when I was coming up back in the 90s and late 80s. It wasn't there. Okay, just like you have to read. You're going to always have to read. You know, now they have devices where it reads to you. But you need to learn the basics and you need to be able to follow them. Very simple. So, we're going to get going Now this is pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4. The way it looks might be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just like on a measuring tape. There are measurements after the fact. After the fact. It's very hard to draw backwards. That's a 2. This is a 3. 3, because I want to draw it the way it looks on the tape. Forgive me for it doesn't look like a 2. 1. I have to draw it all backwards. That's an art within itself. Okay, this is the number 4. 4. And this is 5. Hope you can see that. Okay. This 4 is not right. Forget my drawing skills. They're not all the best right now, but I also draw plans too. I got a drafting table. I've drawn some room additions. I'm from originally Long Beach, California. I grew up doing residential tract subdivision framing. So I grew up, got heart deep into the framing aspect. Even when I was at Los Angeles Trade Technical College, I was working before I went to that college. My uncle was a professor there. W.C. Huntley was a carpentry professor for the second semester. A grandmaster at carpentry. Learned his skills through the 70s, 80s, probably in the late 60s. So with that, I have family members that were carpenters, which did inspire me to become a carpenter. They were making better money then in those days than when I got into the field of construction for carpentry. So just to give you an idea, master home remodeler, take a house, I can cut it and chop it in half and demo it and put on something new, add on something new to it. I can take a roof off a complete house and reframe a whole different roof structure. I can also design a roof framing structure. I also have skills in seismic engineering installation through Simpson. Simpson Hardware has put out a massive load of products for hurricane ties, hold downs, anchors, for foundations. All these things you will learn from me. The framing process, I will actually teach you and show you a scaled model on to identify framing members. Stay with me. You will learn a lot. Believe you, I'm going to take you through my entire learning process on how I got to be where I am. And I fed my family. I had 2 kids that I sent to college. Yes, I made a decent living. I stayed working as much as I could, but I had to train in various styles and in various forms of trades, like drywall hanging. Most carpenters can go a whole career and don't know how to hang drywall. Don't know how to mud and tape drywall. Well, I do. Most carpenters will know how to set forms for a foundation, but won't know how to finish a foundation on a slab. I do. A lot of carpenters can do the raised foundation, but the raised foundation doesn't take as much cement finishing or concrete finishing that you need as a slab finisher. I can lay brick. So to keep you busy in construction, the start off rule is you start off as a laborer. Most laborers that I do know, I've come on a job site, they hungered for this knowledge here. This is where it started out, right here. They struggled with it. Seen many guys that need to overcome this step. These are for the people that really want to, if you take on your own project, you have to start here. You need to start here. Master it. So we start out with the 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inches, 5 inches. At the end here is the 5th inch between this point here and this point here. So everything going backwards this way is telling you from here to here is 1 inch. So to break this down, 1 inch. Every one of these markers here is 1/16. 1/16. We're gonna put that here. I'm gonna put you over here. Just kind of stand in the way of freedom a little bit. 1/16. 1/16. Okay. So 1/16 goes from here. That's that one. Here, 1/8 of an inch. As we keep going down, we're gonna be presenting you all the way to 1/4 of an inch, which is right here. So there are 3 different sizes to this measuring tape that you will see. You have the smallest size, which always is going, every one of these are going to always be 1/16 of an inch. And you can add them till you get to 1/4 of an inch. 1/16, 2/16, 3/16, 4/16, 5/16, 6/16, 7/16, 8/16, 9/16, 10/16, 11/16, 12/16, 13/16, 14/16, 15/16. There are 15/16 equals close to 1 inch. 15/16, let me say, is not 1 inch. It's a 16th away from 1 inch. You still have a 16th to go, which makes that 1 inch, which is 16 over 16 equals 1 whole. 16 over 16, this is number 16. That's the 1 inch. That's what gets you over the hump. Anything prior to that is not an inch. It is the fraction close to an inch. This right here, we're going backwards now, okay? So let me guide you a little bit, okay? We broke it down all the way. 1/4 of an inch, it's this guy here. And I believe you can understand. 1/4 is this guy. He is the next one in line in terms of height. This here, don't want to forget this one, is 1/8 of an inch. 1/8, 1/4. This one here, 3/8 of an inch. 3/8, okay? So we have a half. It's the biggest in between this ruler to get to the 1 inch. The 1 inch covers the whole tape or whole ruler to get to this one, okay? But right in between the 1/2 inch and the 3/4 inch, the one that's in the middle, between the 2/16, that's called 5/8 of an inch. We don't want to forget him. So let me get him some room because he is very important. Because believe it or not, you will call out a size 5/8 of an inch. And that's going to be always a number that you're always going to have to remember because it's a special number because it's in between the 1/2 and the 3/4 when you're a carpenter or any tradesman. Okay, 5/8. Forgive me on my writing skills. 3/4, 7/8. I hope you can read that. Okay, so here we got 1/8, 1/4, 3/8, 1/2 inch, 5/8, 3/4 of an inch, 7/8 of an inch. Wow. Okay, imagine that. We skipped this one, that one. We skipped all the little ones in between the heights that were bigger than that or bigger than those, okay? And like I did, break it down. 1/16 of an inch is the first one. 2/16 of an inch equals 1/8. Okay? That equals 1/8. Well, how are we going to get to that 1/8? Okay? So, I go on my paperwork, as most of the time you see your teacher do. To break down, certain things. Class, pay attention. All right, no talking in the back. No talking. Please pay attention. All right. So when you're dealing with fractions, 2/16. Okay. We're gonna go with how many times does 2 go into 2? This is the basics of math. 2 go into 2 one time. This is division. So you need to know how to divide, okay? How many times does 2 go into 16? 2 goes into 16 8 times. Why? Because 2 times 8 is 16. Basic math. You need to know that. 2 divided by 2 is 1. It's like saying 16/16 is 1. Okay? So that's how we come up with the 1/8 when it comes to the fractions of an inch. These fractions step 1/16, 1/8. Showed you how to get to 1/8. Now we have 3/16, which is the third guy in the lineup. This is the starting lineup here. Everybody's ready to play their role. And the role that they play is a very important part to measuring, especially when you got to cut some lumber or cut some drywall or cut a shingle or even measuring for the distance when you're doing a layout. We're going to also be teaching you how to lay out a building. You need to learn how to lay out windows and doors. Very essential. You need to learn how to lay out the height of a wall because they vary in sizes when it comes to custom building. Because I frame houses, $1 million houses, well, actually, $10 million house, okay? Which the heights of various locations of a house or a home can be great. I frame octagon types of walls that came together. We're going to go over that. Hexagon, octagon, pentagon, all those different types of symbols when it comes to right angle, triangles, circle, circumference, radius. We're going to get into all those things. So stay with me because I'm going to take you through the way I think when it comes to building. And all you probably will need is a calculator. And if you don't have to have a calculator, basic math, pencil and paper, baby. I don't care how it's storming out there, hurricane, earthquake, for a few little minutes. You know what I'm saying? Things die down. You can continue doing the business. How to write out your lumber list. How to order everything that a house needs and estimate it. And come up with the scope of the project of materials that you're going to need for the whole entire house. Concrete. How much dirt to excavate. How to lay out your house. How to lay out a foundation. We're going to go through all that. Stay with us. But everything still starts from where? The measuring. There's 2 symbols I want you to understand. These 2 symbols represent anytime you see them. And this is what you're going to also write. Feet. This slash always represent a foot or feet. This double slash represents inches. Inches. Now, I probably need to write that backwards. You know what I'm saying? Because the way things is on this recorder, you seeing. Woo. Okay. Okay. All right. Very hard to understand. Very hard to understand because I can't write. Nobody was trained and taught how to write backwards. But for the camera purposes, I have to, so you can actually learn correctly. So bear with me, because I never was taught in school how to write backwards. Neither were you. And if you did, you special. You're very special. Okay, so moving on. Feet, inches. Feet, inches. You have to know these markers. Very important, because I'm also be teaching you how to read blueprints. Okay, how to understand blueprints, how to mark up a set of blueprints for your project, whether it's a small doghouse or whether it's a shed that you want to build because wifey or your girlfriend or your auntie Beverly or your grandmama Nana, Mama, Pawpaw, everybody in the family, when you become a carpenter, you want something done. Baby, can you hook up this refrigerator for me? I'm a carpenter. I'm not an appliance guy. But when you start knowing these different things, people really depend on you. You're a very vital asset. You're an essential worker to this country. You're a very essential worker. And because of who you are, and God blessed you with these hands, and I'm not meaning to sound type of religious or anything like that, but you are gifted with hands, knowledge. A lot of our young people today are dropping out of school. I have a program that I can create. I've also had training classes back in California where guys that worked for me, they had to come on Saturdays. I didn't pay them to come, but this was knowledge I was giving them. I'm giving them knowledge and they didn't have to pay me anything. Just show up and we show out. Because if you help me on a project, I'm also helping you feed your family. And I always, like they say, you could take a horse to the water, but you cannot teach that horse how to drink. I could give you a fishing pole and take you to a lake, pond, or river. But I cannot teach you how to fish unless you know how to put the rod in and pull that fish and reel it in yourself. Here, I'm teaching you how to feed your family. And I want you to be able to excel and master this, because without this, you can come to this video anytime. And you can say, call my number, 662-782-8950. You can call that number. Hey, Mr. Derek, Mr. Seals, I got a project, man. I'm stuck. And I had a contractor run out on me. I have had enough of these guys coming down here, messing up people's homes. People always want to try to go the cheap way to do things. I'm not an expensive person, but you will have to pay for anytime I have to go out of town, hotel, food. Those are necessities for me. I can't come to your house and I ain't even had a bowl of fruit or Fruit Loops and you expect me to work. If I'm coming to help you, there is a price tag to it. That's just the bottom line. But I'm coming to teach you and to help you along the way. Where it's cost efficient. Remember, cost efficiency is what everybody's looking for. Everybody wants something done. And they find out when they hire Joe Blow, and that's not a real guy. But if they hire certain people to do certain things, or they hire someone that's got a license number and it's 8 numbers instead of 6, you know something wrong. Because he gave you a price far cheaper than a contractor that was in the area. It went from $89,000, let's even up, $90,000 project, and then this guy said he can provide labor and materials for $45,000. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get that guy out of here. Okay? Because people don't want to check credentials. They just heard that he did Suzette House, and man, it turned out to be excellent. And guess what? Suzette didn't have no inspections. Suzette didn't have no permit. Everything was done rinky-dinky-tinky, tinky-tacky-toe. because that guy was not professional and he didn't know what he was doing. He just got the money. I've seen guys get the money, go halfway through the project, spend the money, and don't come back. They don't show up when it rains. We frame to where we can get inside and work. Okay? I've even put on rain gear and frame in the rain because I was hungry. Hungry. I needed to eat. Maybe needed a pair of shoes. Determination is what I'm going to give you. Strong motivation is what I need you to have. I need you to be able to, hey, we can get through this. We're going to get through it together. Somebody ran out on you. You lost your money. Yeah, you don't even know how you're going to be able to. It takes materials. Nobody works for free. Not even family members. Matter of fact, they're the ones you don't really want to come. Because you know you want to get paid. We want to set you up. We want to set you up in a way that you can depend on yourself, and a person like me you can call, whether it's on a Zoom call or something like that, whether we're going through the plans. As you grow with me, you're going to grow and you're going to excel exceedingly far and above and beyond what the average carpentry course is going to give you. Because these videos that I'm putting out, you're going to always be able to go back to them. And then I will always be able to try to make myself accessible to you. And this is all across the United States. I've built in several different states. Coming from California, an earthquake state, there's no state I can tell you I can't build in. There are no blueprint drawings that I can't tell you I can't read. Now, if you're going to get into some big, heavy commercial skyscrapers, I can read the plans. I just don't get that far up in the air. Now, height, when it comes to walking planks and heights, walking walls and all that, that started out on that. Very dangerous, okay? They got ladders. They got different platforms that you can buy, scaffolding, how to build a scaffold, and different things like that to get you at a height where you're not so scared. You know, back in the day, we walked on a 3.5-inch wall. I could be up 30, 40 feet in the air, carrying lumber at the same time. Okay, that's non-existent anymore because of OSHA. And we've had so many safety hazards. So we want to also make you safety conscious with your eyewear, with your hard hat, with your back brace, with your gloves. These are safety things that you're going to need. Your tool belt, things that you're going to have as a carpenter. Now, back to the board. Okay, 1/2 inch is going to always be in the middle, the media. Okay, now, we don't speak Spanish fluently, but we want to get our Spanish family involved. You know, our Mexican brothers across the border, we need to get them involved, you know, and they have come a long way. So we want to continue to help the younger ones strive. So if I can get this interpreted through Spanish, great deal. Cool. All right. So 1/8, 1/4. It's like every 2. You see how it skips 1? It skipped that one, 1/8. Skips this 3/16, goes to 1/4 inch. It skips this 5/16. Now follow me, because see, I'm numbering these. 1/16, 1/8 is 2/16, 3/16. So all you're going to get out of it is 3. It's not another number that's going to cover 3/16. There's not another number that's going to cover 1/16. It is, baby, what it is. Okay? When you get to 3/8, you got, after 3/8, 7/16. That's another important number. And that's before you get to a 1/2 inch. You buy plywood. It's not going to be laced, or it's not going to be labeled 1/2 inch. You may ask for 1/2 inch, but when you go and buy it, you see on that time, you go to Home Depot, 7/16. Why is that? You know, now we're getting into milling. Just like a 2x4, 2 inches by 4 inches, there's not really 2 inches by 4 inches. It's because of the milling. They have to mill it down when they get the wood after they done logged it and all that. So 2x4 is usually 1.5 inches by 3.5 inches. And all the various lumber sizes. We're going to get into that. But you got to stay with us, though. Okay, let's get back to the board. Pay attention back there, okay? Hey, man, you want to learn? You're here, okay? All right, pay attention. All right, so here we go. Back to this 1/2 inch. 7/16. Wow, what do we have here? 5/8. How many 16ths is 5/8? Oh, right off the bat. If 1/2 inch is 8/16, and if this one here, so we're going to jump from 5/8 back to here. All right, my bad. All right, 9/16. 9. To get from 1/16 to this location here is 9/16. There's nothing wrong, and let me be mindful to tell you, there's nothing wrong to calling out a 16. Please, because you don't identify the 1/4 inch, you don't identify the 3/8, you don't identify with the 5/8, you can't identify or see the 3/4, or you can't see the 7/8. Count them. They're all a 16, but they have a number above the 16. 1/16, 2/16, 3/16, 4/16, 5/16, 6/16. Count till we get to 9/16. 9/16, the representative after that is 5/8. If you cannot say 5/8, then I need you to comprehend 5/8 is 10/16. That is the call out. You will call out to the person that's going to be cutting the lumber, but mind you, you're going to get teased. Man, you calling out 10/16, bro, that's 5/8. Yeah, but it's still accurate. You can't go wrong. And maybe he might not know his 16s. Huh? Because a carpenter that's master, if you master this, whatever number you call out, 9/16, 13/16, 11/16. 11 is before you get to the 3/4. See how fast that? 13/16 is after 3/4. So what is 3/4? 3/4 of an inch is 12/16. Remember, there's 15 of these. 15 of them before you even reach 1 inch. We're going to take you through how to read a scale, okay? Because you can take this scale and you can put it on blueprints, actual blueprints, when there's not a number provided by the architect. And sometimes you're going to come across that, and I will be able to show you that a lot of things are not on the plans that you thought that could be on the plan, which is going to leave you out there in outer space. And you're going to have to figure it out. I've had to call engineers. Yes, I've had to not challenge them, because these are very smart, intellectual people. I wish I could have been a structural engineer. Although I do read structural drawings, and I am very sharp when it comes to structure. Sometimes they do miss things. It's your job as the carpenter to help them to see what they missed, especially when it comes to drawings, because you're building it. They drew it. They visualize it, but you're putting it together. So the combination between you and them, brotherhood. Brotherhood. It's not one trying to take advantage of the other or make one look as dumb as the other. No, you don't do that. It's all about respect. You need to respect those men and women that have struggled and went to school to do that. I got an engineering mindset, of course, and that's because how I was taught as a builder, from another builder, from the old school. See, so he's well up in age now, which means it leaves me here. You know what I mean? So you got me. You know what I'm saying? It's all good though. You know what I'm saying? I do look pretty. I'm all right. I'm decent looking. Okay, let's get back to what we got going on here. Okay, because this is what you're going to do. You're going to take these 16ths, okay? And every 16th that you take, a little bit of comical now, to keep you interested, for your child, okay? Every 1/16, you have the 3/8. Well, the 3/8 is 6/16, okay? So, with 3/8 being 6/16, 1/4 inch being 5/16, 1/4 equals 5/16, okay? 3/8. I forgot, y'all. A lot of these numbers are backwards that you see that I'm writing out. So I have to write them, which is a challenge for me, over. So we had 1/8. So we're going with 2/16. Okay, so 2/16. It's got to be drawn the other way. Okay, I want you to really catch this, y'all, and I'm really trying to make this happen for you all. I don't want this to look like an S. 16? Okay. All right. So that way you can. So we had the 1/4 inch. All right. So even with the 1/4 inch. Amazing how sometimes things don't want to work out the way you want them. I got to test this marker. This marker ain't doing what it's supposed to do. Yeah, I write on my clothes. They wear clothes. So, yeah, I work at a hospital as a carpenter, so that's why I'm wearing white. For those of you that don't know why. Jump the boogie. And the boogie with you. See if this marker works. Voila. Okay, so working itself backwards. A 1/4 inch is going to be 4/16. Okay. Same thing here. Okay. 4/16. All right. I don't know when it's coming out right, you guys. Okay. So you can get the concepts. You know, 3/8. Same thing with 3/8. What are you doing? You just really messing up your numbers. 8 is going to always look the same. And that's going to be 6/16. Six sixteenths. Okay, my sixes don't look that good. Okay, but bear with me. I'm just breaking this down for you, and I'm gonna go over it a little bit better again. I may have to reshoot this video, but everything can't be perfect. And then you're going to get on construction jobs, projects, and nothing's going to be perfect. If I can get you to break these 16s down, then we can get to things like three inches. That's how you're going to write out a measurement. 3 inches, or you're going to read it. 3 inches, 3.5 inches, okay? 3.5 inches. That's the inch mark, like we was talking about before. 1/2 inch, 3 inches. 3.5 inches. Let's go to our 3. 3 here. Now, where's our 1/2 inch? Look at where we put the 1/2 inch. Remember, I told you it's the middle, the one in the middle. It breaks up the whole inch. This is the 1/2 inch mark. This is the 3.5 inch mark. The same if I was to write 3.25 inch. 3. Where's a 1/4 inch? He's the next tallest one in the bunch. It's this one here. 3.25 inch. Okay? 3.5 inch. Okay? So, if we want to do 3 5/8, he's going to be right here. 3 5/8. Same thing. You have the numbers on here at the bottom. They're the same. They're the same on the top. Okay? Whatever you have at the bottom here, you can read that same number up at the top of your ruler. Your ruler is transferred on both sides of the blade. This is the blade of your measuring tape or your measuring ruler, okay? This is the hook. Everything you're hooking off of here, all right? So, we're giving you symbol, inches. There's a symbol here, okay? And we're giving you the foot marker here. So if we want to go 12 feet, nine inches, this is going to be the foot mark, okay? 12 foot 9, okay? That's 9 in real life, okay? Let's do this 9. Like a P, okay? It's 12 foot 9. 12 foot 9, you'll be able to go through your measuring tape, but you'll have to find 9. I'm only going to 5 here. Same concept. This is an inch. There are 11 inches. So don't forget a 12-inch ruler. 11. You go 1 through 12 to get to 1 foot. 12 inches equals equals 1 foot. I'm writing backwards, y'all, so bear with me because this is videotape. That's why. (12 inches) equals a foot. 24 inches equals 2 feet. Every 12 inches is going to put you at a foot. And you're going to keep going with that. You can go to 120 inches. What is 120 inches? 120 inches is when you divide it into your table, or multiplication. 10 times 10. 120. So 120 inches is 10 feet. What is 144 inches? 144 inches is 12 feet. Okay, so we got 1, 44 equals 12 feet. (144 inches), excuse my bad, horrible, backwards writing. 144 inches equals 12 feet. This is how you start breaking down your footage by inches. Because sometimes when you do estimate, you're going to have to use inches even for footage on calculations, because you want to be more accurate, especially like when you order in concrete, by the cubic yard. So 3 times 3 times 3 is 27 cubic feet. So when you go and you're dealing in cubic yards, you want to get the footage of it first, and then you convert it into yards. What is 1 yard? 1 yard equals 3 feet. So when y'all see them football players, he's got 10 yards to go. 10 yards. So guess how many feet is 10 yards? If each foot is 3 feet, 3 times 3, that's like 30 feet before he gets 10 yards. That's past 10 feet past a garage. Double car garage is 20 feet. Just want to get it broken down for you so you can understand the mathematics in all this. I was not a mathematician. I could barely get through pre-algebra. Just let you know how goofy I was playing around a lot, and I wasn't paying attention, but Mama kind of broke me up of that. Sitting at the table with a ruler, and every time I got something wrong, and I did, baby, what's 2 times 2? And I'm joking. 6. Bop! Bop! 4! 4! Yeah, old school. Stop playing with me, boy. Stop playing, Derek. I'm not sending you school to be a clown or to be goofy. And Mama was right. She was right. My attention span. And we have that problem with our children today because of social media. I want to turn some of our kids back into learning the concept of being carpenters and what it means to be a carpenter. You know, like I said, these are mathematics that you can put your children in front of. And I hope I can break these things down for you. There's another video that I'm going to have to implement with this, because this is going to go on for about another 2 more videos, because I got to get into scales, get into footage, you know, long footage, the measuring ruler that we're going to have to go over. I wish I could tell you what measuring tape this is. There's several on the market. You know, there's Stanley, there's Milwaukee, there's DeWalt, there's different types, Black and Deck. There's different types of products out there, and we will be going over products, but right now I can't really get into that because I know I'm not advertising for anyone right now, and it's preference for everybody. I could tell you what I like to use because it's my preference as a framer. The type of hammers that I use. Now, you know, people don't have hammers, they got nail guns, but I'm old school. You give a person that been doing nail gun for 20 years and let me get next to him with a hammer. He's not going to get that far faster than me, because he might put a bunch of nails, but maybe not all them nails go in correctly. I'm one hit quitters. No more than 2. I'm swinging, I'm hitting. I got my nails rolled in my hand. I'm rolling them and I'm hitting them. It may be a tap, bam, tap, bam, tap, bam, tap, bam, tap. So that's the concept on where I come from. And I want you to learn. You don't have to go hammer and nail. You please, by all means, get your nail gun. It's faster, you know, but there's safety behind it. There's safety behind it, and you can get injured. I've seen accidents with it. Guy, nail ricocheted, hit him right in the eye. Eye exploded right on the job. So you can lose your sight, and you can lose members. You know, I shot through a knot framing from a plate to a stud. We're gonna show you and tell you how plates and studs come together and how they're nailed and how many nails you need to put in a 2x4 wall between the plate and the stud. So there's a lot to cover, but it starts all right here, baby. All right here. This is what you want to learn. This is the meat and potatoes. Before you can become a professional as a carpenter, master this. You can also master this while you're also working. So I'm not telling you do this first, then go get a job. No, you go get the job, then come back and see me and put the video on. By the next morning, you're going to understand a lot better than what you did on your own. And I want you, because we're breaking it down by the 16th, you know, and the 16th is going to carry you over, you know, because it's going to produce the quarter, it's going to produce the 1/8, it's going to produce the 3/8, it's going to produce the 1/2 inch, it's going to produce the 5/8, it's going to produce the 3/4, it's going to produce the 7/8. A lot of lumber is cut with all within a 16th. Now there's rarely some time where you might say, cut me a board 7 and 15/16. 7 and 15/16. 7 inches and 15/16. There's a difference between saying 7 feet and 15/16. Because if you want to put 7 feet and 15/16, it's going to be looking similar to, show you how that would look. Seven and 15/16. 7. Feet. 15. That's how that would look. Okay? 7 feet. See, remember I told you the symbol. We got our symbols up here on the board. And I need you to be able to identify the symbol of a foot from an inch. Because there's 2 different symbols. And I don't want you to get it twisted, and I don't want you to go off and then you say something or cut something and then you read it wrong from the tape. You know, because 7 feet is not 7 inches. We're dealing with footage now. Okay? So 7 times 12. So you automatically know what you're going to have when you do that multiplication. When you multiply 7 feet times 12. You're going to come up with 84 inches. You have to learn that multiplication because, you know what I'm saying, even as you get older, you start forgetting some of the stuff. But when you use that math every day and you learn these timetables 7 times, 12, 84 inches, you're going to start knowing your footage, But studs are cut at a certain length when it comes to certain walls. An 8-foot wall, California, 92 1/4. You go to the South, 92 5/8. Why? I was like, okay. But that's just the way it is. To get 8-foot. Now things like 104 1/4 studs or 104 5/8. That's for a 9-foot wall. So you got to have no stud height. And then you might have a stud, you might have lumber that you're probably going to have to cut from that's random length. There might be 10 footers. And he may say, okay, look, I know we got waist, but we need studs. We ran out of studs on the job. Your job is to go cut 50 because you need 50 2x4s at 104 1/4 or 104 5/8. That's the measuring tape, baby. That all day long. You're going to have to pull this out and you're going to have to read it. And you're going to have to mark it and you're going to be very accurate because it can determine the height of your wall. If your wall is too high, Lord have mercy. You mean to tell me, man, I told you what the measurement was. Because you're adding a bottom plate and 2 plates on top. One is called a top plate, one is called a double top plate. That stud fits in between. I'm going to show you that too on the model. Stay tuned. We got a lot that you're going to go through. Pay attention. Get back to the board, please. Okay, because this you can be tested on this. And I do have a test that I can give you where you just have to copy it. And it's going to be practice for you because I'm not going to be able to see it if we, unless we're sharing some type of Zoom and I'm correcting papers. Come on. You at the house, you know what I'm saying? You can do that many times you want on your leisure, your weekends, after work. I spent a lot of time after work, my weekends, reading how to cut roofs, geometric and trigonometry, mathematical problems when it came to certain styles of roof, gable. I'm going to share with you different styles of roofs, how to cut the ridges, how to frame your skeleton so you can frame a roof, old school. Trusses in. I got truss prints that I can show you and draw a truss on here. And I can give you the name of the members of the truss. Top core, bottom core, bracing. So, and then how the trusses are put together. That way you're going to have a wealth of information from me. Same thing. I'm going to do the Simpson, all the hold down. How to lay out where all the Simpson stuff goes. So where you can walk the job with the engineer on inspection and all these straps, hold downs, hurricane ties, you can identify them on the plan. You can have them implemented in the framing. We're at in the framing. And then you can have your inspection when he comes to walking because you can't wrap no building nowadays without that exterior being inspected. And most of your hold downs, your Titans, which is a bolt, that anchor these buildings down, your hold downs anchor the buildings down. You have shear walls, you have anchor bolts that are every so many feet, a foot from the corner, every 4 feet from there, or every 6 feet, depending on what the plan's called. We'll show you that on the plans as well. So you'll be well versed in reading the measurements, okay? Because you cannot lay anything out on a building if you don't have this right here. You have to. Homeowners, yeah, you can have a cheat sheet. This is your home. This is your building. You're not under pressure to finish it at a timely manner like you would make a contractor. There are contractors that, hey, room addition, 45 days, start to finish, we done. As long as you provide the funds for the material to be ordered. And when I have my jobs, I promise you, if I'm doing an add-on, concrete being poured by the end of the week. That may be an $8,000 check. I don't get that check until I finish and pass inspection. Upon passing inspection is when you get a check. Usually if I start a job, you're going to finance your own lumber. I'm going to provide the labor and come and get it to an inspection point, because by the end of that week, the forms have been set, the foundation is poured, and we strip it off forms. People got to get paid, okay? I pay by the week, and because, you know, it's better. I pay by the week. And my guys are going to work. And ain't nobody finna be lazy sitting down eating a sandwich, you know, at 10:30, unless it's a 10:30 break and you work until 5. Okay? But there's basic rules to starting construction 7 in the morning till 3:30 or 5. Usually 10-hour days is what we like to work our guys, 10-hour days, because we produce more. And things get done fast. If you're fighting against weather, you always have to take an account. Calendar. Still numbers. Still got to work with numbers even with a calendar. 1 to 30, 1 to 31. So you see what I'm saying? All this has a basis to it. Has a foundation to it where I need you to understand, you know, how fractions of an inch work in the building trade as a carpenter. Also, heat and air, plumbers, electricians, they all have to abide by this code. This is a rule of thumb here. It's universal, worldwide, when it comes to measuring, looking at a ruler. Even when it comes to doing diaphragms or diagrams, you know, there's going to be numbers on blueprints. Feet, inches. Got to get the symbols. Just take you through the whole entire working of a set of plans. There's some guys that say they read plans, and they ain't not reading the plan. They take typically what they've learned from other jobs, and if they can't really read the plans, they implement that on another job, and then they wonder why they failed inspection. Oh, well, because they did not read in the beginning how many nails it told you to put or what size nail. I see guys buy nails on construction job requiring commons, and they buying sinkers, and they put them in the gun, and sometimes it's hard to tell, and then they overshoot the nail into the plywood, and it sinks in and goes past. Now remember, plywood is usually 5 layers, okay? But they go through the membrane, 5 membrane. You go through the membrane, of the plywood, and you overshoot the plywood, there's going to be a problem from the inspector, okay? It's going to be a very, very serious problem from the inspector. So even right now, I'm working with a camera that I'm setting up that tracks my movements. Okay? It tracks my movements to where it follows me. So when I just threw up a hand signal back then, it stopped moving. We're going to take this to this level here. We've been here over an hour and 3 minutes, which is a normal time for a class, 60 minutes, 58 minutes. So you got to stay tuned for the next video, because the next video is going to continue to inform you that you can learn more. We want you to adapt, learn, get out there on the job site. Safety is the #1 key on job sites out here in America. You must be safe. We haven't gone over any types of tools or anything like that. They're just as dangerous. Right now, we're working the mindset and giving you the knowledge that you need to learn when it comes to measuring 1/16 of an inch. Ruler, tape measure. Your children can learn this. I guarantee it will help them with fractions. So they be so far advanced. If I taught them fractions from off of a ruler or a measuring tape, when they go into fractions, they're going to look at 1/2 inch plus 1/4 inch. Oh, that's 3/4 of an inch. Oh, 7/8 of an inch. The 7/8 of an inch. Oh, that's 1 inch and 5/8. So you're going to get things like that. That's going to come into the visual of what the mind tells them. 1 inch and 1/4 plus 1 inch and 1/4. That's 2.5 inches. They're going to be able to write that. They're going to breeze through the fractions so fast. 1/8 of an inch plus 1/8 of an inch. That's 1/4 of an inch. because you have 2/8. So even with 2/8 of an inch, 2, 3, that's 4/16. They can even break it down to that. You know what I mean? So, hey, I hope you learned a lot. Stay tuned. You can also subscribe if you so desire. All I want you to do is view and learn, and grow with me, because I'm putting it out there. Peace to you.